Hello again my friends, it's Ben from Vein-Tap.com and today I'd like to show you this, the Dark Waves Tap Tempo Tremolo. I'm really excited about this one. The first thing I should say is that when I was filming this, I noticed when I was looking at the footage back that there wasn't a lot of definition in the change in the LED that happens, because what's a little bit special about this tremolo pedal is that the LED lights even when the effect's disengaged to allow you to see the wave that you're going to be using. It changes from red when it's disengaged to yellow when it's engaged. So I'm going to underexpose the video now just to show you the difference between the two. Thought that might be helpful, especially if you're playing live. Before you engage it, you'll be able to see the wave that you'll be playing with the tremolo. But let's get stuck in. We're going to be using a mid-gain PV Valve King 20mH and a Gibson LPJ Les Paul into my faithful Marshall Tuba 12. The first and probably the most important control is up here on the top left. We've got the wave control here. Now we've got 8 different waveforms to choose from. I'll be going through them in sequence. You just turn the control to select which one you want. The first one here on the very far left is the ramp up, and that sounds like this. We've then got the ramp down, which is the opposite. We've then got the square wave. We've then got the triangle. We've then got the sine wave. We've then got the dips. We've then got the lumps. And then we've got random. And then on the lower left we've got the rate control. You combine this with the multiplier control in the center to define how much time each wave takes. You can get up to a maximum of 40 seconds, which is glacially slow, or you can have up to 100 cycles per second. That's in their extremes. We're just going to show you some of the more usable slow and fast rates. We're just going to go for a relatively slow wave now. To a relatively quick one. So the multiplier control in the center, what that does is it'll take the tempo, the rate, we'll get to the tempo later, it'll take the rate control and it'll then multiply it by a number. At the lower left, at the minimum control, it will take the rate input and half it. That will sound like this. We've then got the regular 100% quarter note control, which just reads the rate. The next is the dotted quarter note. Next is double time. Next is the dotted eighth note. And next is the 16th note. In a little while I'll show you how you can tap the tempo in with a foot switch, but that multiplier rate will take the tempo set and either halve it, read it off as standard, double it, triple it, or quadruple it, which means that you can get all kinds of crazy fast tempos relative to the song you're playing without having to worry your foot too much, which is useful. Next is the depth control, a little bit more obvious. All that is it will decide how much of the signal will be cut in the negative part of the wave. So you can have it full, which means that in the negative part of the wave it will be completely silenced, or you can just have a little more subtle, a little less, depending on what you want to sound like, really. And that goes from full to less drastic. Until it's very subtle, as you heard there. The lower right is the center shift control. This might be quite new. What that does is it takes the center part of the wave and moves it to the left or the right. So you can have more signal relative to silence, more silence relative to signal. In the center position, you'll get equal signal and silence, like this. Move it to the left and you'll get more silence compared to the signal. That sounds like this. Move it to the right and the opposite is true. You'll get more signal compared to silence. So that's the theory behind the controls. Now let's use that to make some cool sounds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ramp up, the first wave control. I'm going to add a little bit of reverb. I'm going to add a little more gain to the amp. And I'm also going to change the center shift so that it sounds basically like a rhythmical slow gear, like a violin. It's a really good sound to use, at least I think so, and it sounds like this. Yeah, I love that sound. One of the most famous tremolo riffs, of course, is the James Bond theme. Couldn't do a tremolo pedal without mentioning the James Bond theme. It's a great vintage tremolo sound, the sound that you would have coming out of an old amp. That sounds like this. That, of course, is second only to the most famous tremolo riff of all, which is the Smiths' How Soon Is Now. You may have heard me ruining that at the beginning of this demo. I've got no idea what that interval is. I've got to figure that out. Anyway, I'm going to play that again without the band so that you can hear what that kind of quick, choppy, square wave tremolo sounds like. One more that I'll play just to show you some of my favourite uses of the dark waves. I'm going to play the theme from Twin Peaks, beautiful song. That is a much more subtle sine wave, bit slower, and that sounds like this. But wait, I hear you cry. You've not told us how to tap in the tempo yet. Well, now I shall. This little dealy bob is the Dark Waves controller. On the right side we've got the tap tempo there. You connect that with a stereo cable into the Dark Waves and it gives you an LED which shows you the time that you'll be tapping. That works a little bit differently than other tap tempos. I'll show you that in a second. And on the right you can scroll through the multiplier controls as well, so you don't have to bend over. With the tap tempo, what you do is you tap it, the LED will light, and then you'll tap it again, and the length the LED was lit is the new tempo set. Quite simple just to show you. That's done like this. And while we're here, I'll just show you how the Multiplier Selector works. And I think I've wasted your time long enough. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do visit Vein-Tap.com to see the Dark Waves Tremolo and all the different pedals we have. I hope to see you again soon.